More information is coming out about this evil that is just saturated the country. I'm talking about these right-wingers. This guy, Bundy, and the Bureau, not Ted Bundy, but could have been just as bad. This guy who decided he was going to rip off, I talked about it last night, I screamed about it last night, decided he was going to rip off the government because he has a right to rip off the government where it concerns grazing his cattle. We're all supposed to pay for grazing rights for his filthy cattle. And as a result of that, of course, the feds let him go for about 20 years and said, look, you got to pay your bill. You got to pay your bill or get your cows out of here. And, of course, with all that, all of a sudden then it becomes an issue, see? This evil that is saturating the country from these right-wingers, this evil that has been, and I don't, I've always believed that evil is a religious term and therefore it has no meaning to me. But there's also secular evil, and it's centered around violence. To me, violence is evil. Evil is violence. And that's what I'm talking about. And there is a thick artery of this stuff, this evil violence that just pulsates through this culture. And it's it's kept going. The heartbeat is right-wing talk radio, right-wing blog sites, right-wing websites. That's all they do is pump as much evil into the culture as they possibly can. And in so many instances, it takes the form of their idiotic religious beliefs, for which they will kill you. They'll cut your throat. Remember, all the wars going on right now, pretty much, have some basis in religion. And then there's the political evil that these right-wing devils have been forcing into the public discourse for a good long time, but especially for the past 30 years, to the point where our culture, our society now is ass over elbows deep in this evil, filthy violence. Whether it is this psychopath, this Glen Miller freak, who I'm very familiar with, having lived here in Georgia and having dealt with the religious right crazy people and having dealt with the Klan and having dealt with the Christian Reconstruction movement here in Georgia. I never talked to him. I never met him, but I know this bastard. And it is no surprise whatsoever that he finally decided he wasn't getting enough attention, decided to go kill 3 Jews. Of course, he killed 3 Christians, but that doesn't matter. If you went to some of the websites today, as I did, that is saturated with this filth and this evil from these NRA, Klan, Christian Reconstructionists, no tax. I mean, it's all over the place. If you went to some of those websites today, like I did, you saw that they were congratulating this devil for killing a kid and his grandpa and a woman, all 3 of whom were loving, caring, contributing members of society. And Glen Miller is just scum off the bottom of your shoes when you've walked through a cow pasture full of Bundy's cows, I guess. I mean, it's just horrible. It's horrible. This is the kind of stuff that Sarah Palin and Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and this crazy son of a bitch Glenn Beck, they've been pumping this into the culture for years now, just egging these people on, just pushing them and pushing them. And these people that showed up to take on the Bureau of Land Management, they show up with their cap guns and little pistols and little rifles and little toy. Oh, we're going to make war on the federal government. And I've said before, one squad of Marines up against every goddamn militia member you could come up with, and those militia members would just be wiped out in about 15 minutes. Because most of them would turn tail and run because they're cowardly little bastards. But this Glen Miller was involved in a shootout in North Carolina between Klan members and members of the Communist Party USA back in, I want to say in the 70s, and maybe you saw the video. television reports, because somebody took a video and then gave it to the network television. But Glen Miller is just the latest of these swine who, I don't care if they're killers of doctors who perform abortions. I don't care who they are. There is this saturation point that we're rapidly reaching of this filthy, stinking evil, this violent evil that the right in this country has been pumping into the culture for years now. Yeah, and when I read this today, you know, it just, coupled with this Glen Miller, sorry son of a bitch, that murdered 3 people who have, any one of those 3 that he killed had more humanity and compassion and love and decency in their little finger than Glen Miller had or ever had in his whole body. But it just, you know, these 2 events sort of coming together, because these right-wing sons of bitches always pick April 20th to do something horrible, right around April 20th. You know, it's Hitler's birthday. So they pick April 20th. Isn't that when the Oklahoma City bombing occurred? They are domestic terrorists, and I don't know why the Justice Department doesn't label them as such. These are not people who are protesting their rights or protesting for their rights or operating under any kind of guarantee from the U.S. Constitution. These are terrorist son of a bitches who are more of a threat to this country than all the Al-Qaeda, made-up Al-Qaeda people that you could possibly come up with. We have a cadre of death-dealing terrorists in this country right now. And they all, it's a loose organization. It ties in Rush Limbaugh and even the little pissant Sean Hannity, as milquetoasty as he is. He's tied in there. And all these militia types and these no tax people, and get rid of the IRS people. They're full of violence. They're full of the kind of hate. They don't act on it because they're such goddamn cowards, every single one of them. But they find the weak spots. Not that they seek out the weak spots, but the weak spots are there. The empty-headed freaks like this Glen Miller character, who will go off his nut and decide he's going to go kill some Jews and go kill some Christians. I mean, they're insane. And they really are like termites. If you picture the United States as a house, these pigs, this filth, is slowly eating away at the frame of the house that we're all supposed to try to live in. They're horrible. And I don't know why they've never been labeled, all of these organizations, and treated as such, as domestic terrorism. I don't care if it's the Klan or white power or anti-Semitic or anti-gay. I don't care what they are. They kill. They destroy. They terrorize. They commit violence. They promote violence. I think some of the saddest, most sickening pictures I've ever seen are these Klan bastards with their 5 and 6 and 7-year-old kids dressed in the little mini clown outfits with the pointy white hoods, or dressed in the little mini camo outfits with their little Nazi insignia. Little children, for Christ's sake. I mean, this is pure evil. It is violence. And why these people are not labeled as terrorists and dealt with as terrorists, because that's what they are. Every last one of them. And there's nothing worse than a terrorist who is also a coward, and a liar, and a cheat, and someone who believes that he has the power of his twisted God behind his sick actions. And that's what we deal with in this country now. Come a long way since Jefferson and Hamilton and Adams and Franklin and the rest of them, have we? A long way. We'll be right back.